Greetings, everyone, and welcome. December the 11th, 2025, 12:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is 7:45 p.m. in Kyiv, Ukraine. I know that my thumbnail and I know that my title are very aggressive, but they are done because I believe in them. He fell for it. He, being President Donald Trump, has fallen for what? The Putin initiative that was began before Alaska, confirmed in Alaska, and is now being further pushed by Witkoff and Lavrov and others around the globe that will ultimately end up in Donald Trump pushing for a Ukrainian capitulation. That is where we're at. I have the video to prove it. You can see here, this is way too easy. 82% of Ukrainians. The bottom line is he fell for it. He believes it. And I truly, with all of my heart, I believe he wants this deep relationship with Moscow, with Putin, even with China. It's strange, but we'll get to it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Now let's get and put some proof in the pudding. We'll start here. Peter R. Newman, this dude is spot on. So to all the Germans in here, part of my community, or watching this video, please comment. Tell me about this guy. I researched him, but he was interviewed. He said it spot on. Trump has few convictions, but one of his convictions is that he is positive towards Putin, that he likes being a president with absolute powers, and he actually doesn't care about Ukraine. I completely agree with that. Here it is. Yes. What is going on with the United States? I think they want to, and this has been Trump's intention from the start. Trump has few convictions, but among them is that Putin is great. He'd like to be president with absolute powers just like Putin, and he doesn't care about Ukraine. He has no emotional connection to it. He believes it was Joe Biden's war, Europe's war, and he doesn't like Zelensky at all. Yeah, he has no emotional connection with Zelensky and doesn't really respect him. And thirdly, he wants to normalize relations with Russia, with Ukraine being just an annoying obstacle for Europe to deal with right now. And that's his real goal. He strayed from it once or twice, but always comes back to the main goal, which is normalizing relations with Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the best summary of any expert or analyst that I have heard in the almost 4 years of this war, especially since Trump came into office at the beginning of this year. That was spot on. What are your thoughts about that? Now, I mentioned earlier, and this is what he's talking about. There's this alliance, this friendship, that Ukraine is a stumbling block right now to building this network, and even Politico reporting how a new Russia-China-US network could work. In the United States, the idea of creating an alternative to the G7 is being discussed. We've already heard Putin say, we're not going back to the G8. The Core 5, the C5, is an alliance being talked of 5 countries, including Russia, the United States, China, India, and Japan. The Defense One portal claimed that the first item on the C5's agenda would be resolution on the situation in the Middle East. This is not just an idea. They are already talking about what this alliance, this Core 5, could accomplish. So this is reality. Now, Lavrov, here it comes, ladies and gentlemen, the truth. Lavrov says the U.S. proposals that Witkoff brought to the Russian Federation is what we agreed upon, and that cannot change. It is in the original documents of Ukraine. Here's Lavrov talking just a little while ago. Before Alaska, Stephen Witkoff had also been in Moscow, and there he brought proposals that formed the basics of the understandings that would be reached in Anchorage. And those understandings are that Ukraine must return to the non-aligned, neutral, and non-nuclear foundations of its statehood. It was precisely these principles, non-alignment, neutrality, and non-nuclear, that were enshrined in the Declaration of State Sovereignty of Ukraine on July 16th, 1990. And it was on the basis of these principles that were declared in that document that we recognized Ukraine's independence. Therefore, when we are now told, there's nothing we can do because our Constitution states the goal of joining NATO, we now recognize a different Ukraine. So Russia now using the strategy of going to the original constitution or the original documents that says that Ukraine will be non-nuclear and a neutral state. So we are hearing, this is capitulation, guys, not only from no large army to a small army to completely neutral. This is what they are talking about, and Lavrov openly stating, this is what we agreed on in Alaska. I stand by my convictions that there were agreements, not a signed document, but words between Trump and Putin in Alaska. I just stand behind it. There's too much evidence dropping every day or so that keeps confirming the same narrative. Now, we heard a couple days ago that Gerasimov is gone. He's out. And I always wait for proof. And of course, we have proof and we give it to you so that we have facts only. But not only is Gerasimov not gone, he's still fulfilling his duties in his strong way as the supreme commander of Russian forces. We have today Vladimir Putin talking about the front lines with Gerasimov, and they specifically talk about places being completely liberated. I'm going to break that down for you as well. But this is all in the same narrative right now, all at the same time. Ukraine losing land so fast, cities are falling, their army is deserting, 82% of the people want elections and to stop the war. This is all that Trump hears. So here, you listen for yourself. This is Putin, Gerasimov. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, I want to inform you that the task of the liberation of the Donetsk and the Lugansk People's Republics, also Zaporizhia and Kherson regions, is being carried out according to the agreed-upon plan. The report is concluded. Valery Alexeyevich, this is a great dynamic, and on all the fronts, the liberation of the territories of Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, also Zaporizhia and Kherson regions, is being carried out gradually and rhythmically in accordance with your intentions, the intentions of the General Staff, and the strategic initiative is completely in the hands of the Russian armed forces. This is the narrative that they're going to continue to push. Everything is in control. They've even talked about how the city of Siversk has fallen, and I want you to see this so that you understand. Siversk is located up in this pocket, just for reference. Pokrovsk is down here in Zaporizhia. I'm really zoomed out here. Dnipro, Kharkiv, Poltava. But he's talking about in this pocket. So it has fallen. So if we go deep state map and we come in and remember, gray zone is both armies are there. So you can see that Siversk has not fallen. In fact, the Russians were planting a flag to show that Siversk has fallen. Take a look here. Okay, now this is on what is called the Monument to the Tank. And they are there taking the Ukrainian flag off, putting the Russian flag on, and you will see this soldier come. He'll give a salute that this is now ours. There he is throwing the old holder off. I'm going to show you guys exactly where this is. There he's saluting, doing all, he's going to look up at the drone, give his salute. Okay, now let's go to this image here, and it's in this zone. So they'll take this one image of It's right here, actually, way back here, where Russia's already controlling in the northeast quadrant of Siversk. But they'll plant the flag and they'll say, "We've got the whole city. We've planted the flag on the tank. It's all ours." If I go to a Google map here and note lines and I take you into the town of Siversk, okay, you can see this is the city of Siversk. Where is the tank located? I will show you. The tank is located right there. Okay. Now this is all of Siversk. And it's even more, but I'm zoomed in for you. So you can see the flag is here, but all of this is ours. No, it's the gray zone. They're fighting for it. And yes, I can take you right in and validate it for you before we continue on here. Let me do that. Bring this in, and you can see the tank memorial. This is exactly where this guy was, the tank. So there you have it, guys. That's the actual truth about what is going on there. Now, I have to tell you the truth, and it's about this. Donald Trump making a lot of statements last night in just a press conference, sitting there at the table talking about, we're taking Venezuelan oil. Yeah, I guess we'll just keep it. Oh, 82% of Ukrainians. Yeah, we got to get a peace deal. Zelensky doesn't want elections. Okay, here's the video.
And you said in an interview yesterday that you think it's time for Zelensky to start accepting things. What things are you talking about?
I think he has to be realistic, and I do wonder about, how long is it going to be till they have an election? It's democracy. It's a long time. They haven't had an election in a long time. It's losing a lot of people. And it's possible that the people, if you look at the polls, I will say 82%, there was a poll that came out, 82% of the people are demanding a settlement be made, Ukrainian people. They want to see a settlement be made. I understand that. They're losing thousands and thousands of people a week. They want to see it ended.
That is 100% a lie. There are no polls out that say 82% of the Ukrainians want to settle the war and capitulate. That is a lie, a lie, a lie, a Kremlin talking point. The only and latest official poll that we have out of Ukraine is right here, where it is 38% of people say to achieve peace, Ukraine may give up some of its territories, and 54% under no circumstances should Ukraine give up any of its territories, even if the war lasts longer. We must preserve our independence, and 8% hard to tell. That number is actually growing. So, unfortunately, the President of the United States is clueless, and we go back to the German analyst. He doesn't care. German analyst stating that Donald Trump does not care about Ukraine. It's a fact. I'm giving the proof. The proof is in the pudding, and it is reckless policy. It is a disastrous policy. We are witnessing it, and we must stand against it. Please share this video. Now, let's go to the last one, and I hate to even bring it up, but we have to continue confirming. If I'm going to put a thumbnail up that is this strong, he fell for it, this is way too easy, 82% of Ukrainians, then I have to give it all. And here we have it all. Tucker Carlson back in the spotlight. And you must say, Greg, don't share Tucker Carlson. He's a traitor. I understand that. But he has a massive audience. Massive. What did he say?
So there are a couple of different countries you might throw out there if you were looking purely through the lens of what's good for the United States, an America first perspective. The most obvious, of course, would be Russia. Russia! Why? Because it's the biggest country in the world. It's the biggest landmass in the world, and it has enormous mineral deposits, energy deposits. It's got a lot of oil and gas and gold and everything else you need to run a society. And it also has a formidable military, by far the biggest on that continent, on the European continent, and huge manufacturing capacity. So, like, if you needed an ally to help you in a conflict, or if you needed a country in which to stage a fight with some other country, a place to put air bases, for example, Russia would be like the best, of course.
And yes, people listen to that and then they recycle it at their dinner table. The aggressor state trying to wipe Ukraine off the planet. Tucker Carlson stating they'd be the best choice to be an ally for the United States. This goes right along with what the German analyst was saying, the Politico article, the C5, and the list goes on and on and on. Thank you for being here. I've tried to validate with video and commentary this position that is very strong. The result is Putin and Trump are trying to force Ukrainian capitulation because Ukraine cannot be defeated by the Russian army. That's it in a nutshell. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. What are your thoughts on this? Am I off on the money? And for my German friends out there, once again, who is this guy? Is his voice accurate? Thank you guys. Be blessed.